Well, we'll talk about the wider context of the game in a moment, but seeing as he mentioned the penalty appeal, let's pick up on that. What did you think, Danny?
I think it's one of those. It wasn't a clear and obvious mistake. It looked a bit soft. I thought he was already going over, like a little slip, and there was no obvious bad contact for me. I didn't ever think, when they didn't give it, I didn't think it was going to get turned over.
If they gave it, would they have turned it over?
Probably not. I think he does all right. I think he does well and actually comes out with the ball. I think he's just lost his balance a little bit. I don't think that's a penalty, do you?
No, I think he makes contact with the ball and then scoops it through. So I think it was a good decision in the end. I think he saved us from there, a little bit on the ball there and then scoops it round. So I understand he's going through, but I think he makes contact there and scoops it again. So for me, that's
they shouldn't be relying on decisions like that to get them through game. You know, they've drawn at Fulham last week, not create too much today. First half, a couple of chances for Odegaard and the one from Saka early second half. But Arsenal, we've seen them better than that, and they're just struggling a bit for creativity. Why do you think that is? Because they do have Odegaard back, although he was subbed, wasn't he, in the second half, wasn't he? Which was a bit strange. But they do have the players, so what is it that's not working for them?
I think, like I mentioned it, everyone can see now from the tactics that they're very right side dominant. You set up a game plan to eradicate that, be good from set pieces, and then you're thinking, well, where else are you going to get goals from? The left side isn't giving us the output that we want, and that's why I'm saying if they don't go and get someone for the left side, I think they won't ever kick on to the levels where they want to get to. And I think credit to Everton, you have to defend those moments. You can have a game plan, but you still have to execute it and defend well in those moments, and I think they did today. And obviously, as Sean Dyche says, when the goalkeeper's needed, he comes up with big moments as well. So they have to have more balance down that left-hand side. They have to be able to find a different way. Small details as well. So if you think last week when the last-minute goal from Saka gets disallowed at Fulham, and today when you look at Odegaard and his quality, and in one particular chance first half, normally you see him tuck that away. All of a sudden those 2 draws are 2 wins. There's no crisis. They are dominating games, they are playing with good possession, they're still very good defensively. I still expect Arsenal to be really competitive in this Premier League and push Liverpool and Chelsea. Should they be scoring more from open play though? Because it's now 3 games in a row with no goal from open play. They are hugely reliant on set pieces. Does that worry you a bit, Karen? I think it does. I think before today they were 11th in terms of open play XG. Look, and we've seen these clips, and Odegaard was the main guy, and as we mentioned, he went off. So I haven't heard any reasons why, but it's certainly looking into why he was brought off, whether it was a knock or anything like that. But you know, Saka and Odegaard are their main guys, and if you block that, there is a problem. I think the rest of the team is built on really good physicality, and they're a hard to beat team. I've always said Mikel Arteta for me is a defensive minded coach. He plays to be, hard to beat and then get your moments. But you know what though, they did actually only score a couple less than Man City last year. They were second highest goal scorer, and they didn't have any problems. So maybe it's just a phase. I do think the left side's a great point and something to look at addressing. Yeah, okay. Well, no, I was just going to say, even from last year though, Dan, if your goalkeeper has made 16 clean sheets, you've got one of the best defences in Europe, you've got £100 million centre midfielder, Odegaard and Saka, and you still come second. There's only 2 spaces that can get you from second to first. So I'll be really, really interested to see what they do in January. If they go and find that, because they're literally 1 player off in my opinion, and then I think it will give the whole team a boost as well. And I think sometimes you've got to bring in that next player to keep saying, we're going. And also to take advantage of the fact that City aren't playing at their very best. So if there's ever a time to do it, it could be now for them. Exactly. Okay. Well, we've been focusing largely on the top half of the table, but after the break we focus.
And let's reflect on what's been happening today. We're going to start in the Premier League. We're going to start at the Emirates, where Arsenal have missed a golden opportunity to capitalise on Liverpool drawing at home to Fulham this afternoon. Why, Tim Sherwood, were they not able to capitalise?
2 words, Jordan Pickford. I mean, what a performance he made.
Hence the smile at the end we just saw for him.
No, he was magnificent. He was very, very good, but he wasn't alone. They come for a point, and that's exactly what they got. They had no intention of driving forward and trying to win the football match. I think Sean Dyche is a master at this. If he knows that he's up against it, he set his team out, but they should have been beat 2 or 3, to be honest. But Pickford made some magnificent saves. They had a plan, just to block the middle of the park. Guy, Decore and Mangala in the middle just protected Tarkowski and Branthwaite, who were excellent. Let the ball go wide. Every time the ball came into the box, they headed it out. And then they just reset again. They must have been doing it time and time again all week. They would have practiced this. They would have known what to expect. And Odegaard and Saka were opening them up time and time again in the first half. Odegaard picks that in on that right side, just the space in the corner of the box, and Saka, he was just sliding him in, and they were creating chances. And then on 62 minutes, Mikel decides to bring off Declan Rice and Odegaard. I'm not sure if they're injured. I mean, we're only speculating, but if they're not injured, I can't understand why he brought him off, because when you bring off Odegaard, you disarm and you take away a lot of ammunition for Saka. And we never saw Saka when after that.
Very rarely see those kind of players being taken off.
Well, yeah, especially when you need a goal and you're lacking guile really in the midfield areas. Odegaard sees the picture, disguised passes. He's got every club in the bag. He little float ones over the top. He can drive it into people. He picks the right pass at the right time. He comes off, and from there on in, it was predictable from Arsenal. He just packed the box, and Everton were just happy then. You could feel like they were comfortable just soaking it up, and there was no space to operate. And when there was a half chance from set pieces, they just put their bodies on the line and defended. And they really played for the shirt today, and they got the point they come for.
By the way, we talked to Boydie more about this. So we were showing you those scenes at the end of the game between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Ipswich Town, with Ipswich Town have won by 2-1. We saw Ryan Aït-Nouri really involved, being held back by a number of figures at Molineux. Well, he was in the end booked for a second bookable offence, so he has effectively been sent off in that game, but it came after the full-time whistle. We'll reflect more on that. We'll go back to the Emirates and back to what Tim was watching. That's now 14 points that Arsenal have dropped in their last 9 games in the Premier League. However good they might have been midweek against Monaco in terms of a title race, that's way too many to drop.
It is, yeah. Like I said at the top of the show early on this afternoon, I still fancy them to put a run together, but they need their best players on the pitch to be able to achieve this. And if they're not playing well, we've seen them for the last few months, or for all the season, get set pieces and score from set pieces. Doesn't matter how you win as long as you take maximum points. But today, they couldn't find that because Everton got their head on the first ball. So it was very few chances from set pieces. I've never seen a crowd get so excited about a set piece. Especially a crowd like Arsenal, when they've got players who can open you up and free flowing. We've seen them over the years, but they almost believe their best chance to score now is from a set piece. The roar goes up when a corner's been given, and they do look a threat. But Everton just stood up to it today.
Well, 6 clean sheets in the last 9 games for Sean Dyche's side. They might not be entertaining going forward, but they're a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, you don't want a season ticket there, do you? But he's just paid to do a job, Sean. That's why he's a safe pair of hands, and I always feel like if he manages any team in the Premier League, he's going to keep them in it. He would argue if he had the better players, then he could embroider it and make it more pleasurable to watch. But they went there and I would ask Michael Dawson. Michael will know when you're a centre half and a defender, and you play in them games and you come away with what you started the game for, which was a point, and you've had to soak up the pressure and you put your body on your line. It is, Michael, a magnificent feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I think Everton going there as well, that's how they're set up, listening into Tim, and you've done your job. And I think you have to, because you look who plays there, the pace that they've got in wide areas, Arsenal. If you go toe to toe with them, you're going to be in big trouble. Defend the edge of the box, which I think they like doing, Everton. That is what they're all about. And that's a Sean Dyche team, which I've always said, when you've got him in charge, and I saw last week, or 2 weeks ago, a Dyche sign out, I'm like, give it a rest. He will get you results and he'll get you out of trouble. What are you expecting from this Everton team? The grit and determination, the fight that they've shown. They started off disastrously, conceding goals, but they've also got these kind of performances in them. But yeah, big performance from Everton, and from a defensive point of view, like you said, Tim, the centre halves, he's proud as Jordan Pickford.
Told you they should have had the number 9, Arsenal. You argued against it.
Referring to a much earlier discussion. By the way, next for Everton.
It's all going to be around the title race. 2 big names dropping points. Robbie Mustoe, Robbie Earle, Rebecca Lowe with you. Robbie Earle, you were watching the Liverpool or the Arsenal game?
More of the Arsenal.
Okay.
Thoughts are, this is an opportunity spurred by Arsenal by not finishing off the team that created chances. Jordan Pickford had a brilliant game there. Everton had their chance to go. People are going to point to an Arsenal team that doesn't have guaranteed goals. Havertz, yes, we know Jersey, doesn't really change the game. And we look at this opportunity and where we go in the season, then we'll go over to Everton.
Robbie, you were taking
away. Diogo Jota being back is huge for them. Takes his goal beautifully well in the second half there. But it's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. They've dropped points now in Arsenal. 1 goal in 2 games for Arsenal. Goals the problem for them. But it's so starting to... Chelsea are like, this is kind of good for us for tomorrow. So, yeah, it's just that the top teams are faltering.
A point to make, Bex, as well, just in terms of the league. You know, it seems like Forest, Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth, you know, who at one time would be, you know, you'd find a way to get over these teams. They're well set up, they're well coached, they've got good players, and they're a challenge now. And so there's no givens. You can take nothing for granted in this league, as we saw in games today. And that's going to be a challenge for all the teams.